Hey, Heidi here, and I am so excited. We are going to be talking all things paint parties and paint party success. And I have Holly and Lori here. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Okay, so we are going to get right to this because we have some pretty cool stories. Holly, with just having a party, I think last week of 68 painters, to Lori having a pretty cool opportunity with Virgin Airlines, which I'm so excited to hear about both of these things happening. So, just a quick reminder, if you have thought about doing the paint party world and doing paint party businesses, you never know where it's going to lead to. And these are current examples. This isn't something that happened years ago. I want you to remember that these are people real time having success, and we're going to hear their stories. So, first off, let's go to Lori. Go ahead and tell us your business name and what is the coolest thing right now happening in your paint party world.
Sure. So my business name is Rare Bird Art Studio, and I'm located in Maine, Augusta, Maine. The cool thing is right now it's Christmas time, so ceramics are huge right now, and I'm planning big parties with that. Big Christmas trees parties. I have two actually huge ones this month. One where I have 85, and the next 2 weeks later I have 65 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's
Been a good month.
That's some big big paychecks there.
Very big.
That's amazing. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat that. Lori has 85 ceramic Christmas trees and then another one of 65. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my
2 weeks
gosh.
later.
That's awesome. Okay, so you have your own art studio. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody comes to you for your parties.
So for the most part, but I'm renting out bigger venues for those. I'm actually renting at the Civic Center, our Civic Center, and then a event hall at a hotel.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, very cool. And then what is this Virgin Airlines thing?
So I was contacted by Virgin Airlines. They actually have a new gift registry now where people can go on and give experience gifts. I think it's virginexperiencegifts.com. And they put packages together. So in my studio, I have a paint splatter room plus a just a regular art studio. So we made packages for that, so they can do a thing like for all their bachelorettes or a bridal party or family, and they can just get gifts for other people through that.
That is so cool. Okay, so I just heard you have a paint splatter room at your art studio.
Yeah.
Is that, and that's got to be a blast. Is that really popular?
It is super popular. You get a full hazmat suit and goggles and 8 ounces of paint and like 2 ounce squirt bottles and an hour just to go have fun.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Do they actually have a canvas or they just splat like?
So they get a 12 by 16-inch canvas to go in with that. And then when it comes out, it's completely, drenched and multicolored and beautiful marbled paint. And then they have also, they tend to squirt each other more so than the canvas, but they're free to spray anything in the room as long as it stays within the room.
That is awesome. So do you, you may already have this, but do you also like video it and then sell the video to them?
I don't, but that's a great idea. That is a really great idea.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
do
you
take
can just
like,
have it right in the corner. Yeah. Yeah, have it in the corner and like just have it, where it's water. I don't know how you could do it, but man, that would be a great upsell.
I would, I'm gonna figure that out. Absolutely. I'm doing upgrades right now to a different, because my studio has 2 extra offices. So I'm converting that room to a bigger office right now. So I've kind of pulled it down to move it, but I do have a place to put that up. So I actually will do that.
That's so good. Then you can be like, do you want this? And then just airdrop it to them, when it's in, here you go, you get the video or whatever. That'd be so cool.
That's a great idea.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on all of that. We're going to come back because I want to ask you some of your other tips, but let's go to Holly. So Holly, you just recently had 68 painters. So what is going on in your world, and tell us your, of course, your business name, how people can find you, and then what's going on cool in your world.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. My name is Holly Cepeda, and my art business is Art Your Way. And people can find me just by going to my website. It's artyourway.org. And yeah, we just had a major party with 68 first responders here in Washington State. And we rented a room at a hotel, and I ended up having a couple of other artists come and help me. It was a little crazy, but it was a lot of fun because we taught 3 different bird silhouette designs at the same time to this huge group of ladies. And we each took turns explaining the steps. And I thought that it wasn't going to work out, but it did. And it was actually the fire chief's idea to do that, because I guess she had had that experience somewhere else before. So it was a really fun experience, and I was really glad that I got to challenge myself with that.
No, it was 3 different birds that you taught. Oh my gosh, we have so many overlaps. We have the Rare Bird Art Studio. We have you teaching bird paintings, and both of y'all have rented out hotel spaces recently for your. Is anybody else seeing this, or is it just me finding weird commonalities? So what does it look like to rent out a hotel space for that many people?
Well, it looks amazing when it's all set up and everything's put together. You kind of have to go through some technicalities with the hotel. They want to know that you have liability insurance. They want to know that you're going to have a drop cloth down if it's carpeted, that sort of thing. But they take care of offering like coffee and tea. They could serve food if they wanted to. I think it helps people to just feel comfortable, because especially when they're traveling for a conference or something, they can just paint, have some drinks, and then go to their room. So
Right.
it's a really great
Does the hotel help you? Well, I know you did yours for first responders, but does the hotel actually help you advertise?
They did not help with advertising. This was a private event. It was for their conference. It was just one of the events in
Oh, gotcha.
for the conference they had that week. So
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Very cool. What about yours, Lori, for your hotel? Was it with the conference as well?
No, so it's something that I put out and I advertised on Facebook. I put out
Okay.
advertising and it pretty much sold itself because it's Christmas.
Yeah, yes. I know that's the thing. If anybody's like, should I get into this business? Yes, now is the time to get into this business. And so I have been interviewing people who work full time, people who don't work full time, and people who are doing this as a side thing, people who are selling out parties of 85 Christmas trees. Like, are y'all doing this business full time, or is this your side thing?
this is definitely full time for me. I have 3 little kids and they're all in school now. So I can push as much as possible during the day. And then my husband's home in the evenings, so I can go and teach in the evenings. So yeah, it's definitely become a very lucrative main jam for me.
Awesome. And what about you, Lori? Is this your full
It's
time?
it's my full-time gig now. I quit my daytime job last November, so I'm coming up on 1 year. And it's been a very fruitful year,
Very cool.
more so ever than I've ever worked corporate. So yeah, this is
Wow.
my full-time thing now.
This is so interesting because I just had an interview with 2 ladies who are still hustling in the corporate world, but they're also like having 20 parties a month as a person who's working full time. I mean, they are hustling and they are getting it done. So I think, whatever your goal is, whether you're working full time and doing this as a side thing is totally fine, or you're at the place where Holly and Lori are, where you're able to do this as your full time thing. So I have a question for y'all, and we'll start with Lori. And so so I'm always curious because we all have a different story of how we got into this. And I'm so curious, Lori, how did this happen? How did you get into being a paint party studio owner?
So, well, I had never been to a paint party before. A friend of mine actually just opened a brewery, just opened back in 2018, opened a brewery and
Mhm.
said, have you ever done a paint night? And I was like, no, but I've always been like artistic. I did it all through school. I went to school for art. Like that was my thing. And she said, well, why don't you try it out? And that first event I sold out, um, within days. And I went in, like I had 27 people at my first paint party and I didn't know what I was
Wow.
doing. So I that was the taste. I was like, wow, I went in with no money. And as I did prepay setup, and as soon as money came in, I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And I did it
What
as
year
a
was
side gig.
that? 2018?
2018, April of 2018.
Wow. So you are, I mean, you're what, 4 years into this? You're pretty new and
Yeah.
relatively speaking.
Relatively, yeah.
Wow. And you're already making more than your corporate job and you're just 4 years in.
Yeah. Yeah. I quit. I opened my studio in January of 2020.
Okay.
And then the pandemic happened. And then so I had to pivot, but everything kind of exploded even during the pandemic. So yeah.
Man, that's so okay. So you opened January 2020, then of course the world shuts down in March of 2020. What were you thinking? Like, were you freaking out? Like, because I know I had full on breakdowns on this side of the
Full on freak out. I had started my studio and I was doing great, even at I had a smaller studio. And then I actually gave my 2 weeks to my boss, like February 20th or something.
Oh my God.
And then, so when the world shut down, I messaged her. I was like, I can't quit right now. And she's like, no problem, stay. But I still did it as a side gig up until November of last year.
Okay. Oh, that was nice of her to let you come back.
Yeah. Well, they needed me. We worked in Medicaid. So
for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's, oh my gosh. I know there's so many stories of just like perseverance. I mean, I remember, oh my gosh, I remember talking to one of my friends and we were on the phone and she was like, it's just been, man, I know COVID is this thing and it's awful, but she's like, it's just been so nice to just relax and have some time. And I was like, this is the hardest I've ever worked in my life. Like, I feel like I've just been in, constant, when you have a business that is in person and then all of a sudden it shuts down, you got to figure it out. And so I think it has been so interesting to see how entrepreneurs and especially creative entrepreneurs like y'all, like both of you, you pivot and you make it work and we're problem solvers. And so a lot of times, COVID, as awful as all of the sickness and everything was, a lot of the business people have really rose to the top who stepped it up and figured out how to pivot. And so it just always amazes me to see that kind of I don't know if you would call it like the human condition of just that feeling of like resilience. I don't know. I love hearing the stories of people that when everything is got them counted out, they're like, no, it's not going to happen. No, not going to let it happen. And we're going to move forward. So that's great. So great, Lori. Very cool. Okay. So Holly, how has it been? Like, were you in business during COVID and did it change? What happened with your story?
Oh man, it was a roller coaster ride for sure. So I started out back in 2019 with buying your ebook, and it was $10, and I learned from that, and I did a little guinea pig party with my family, and then we did one at our church and did it by donation. I think the suggested donation was like $20. And I just had a new baby. That was 2019, and we had 30 people. My mom was there kind of helping out. And I had so much fun teaching and just a blast with it. And then I started to do some more public parties. And then that was spring of 2020, or like, I guess January, February is more like it. And then everything shut down. So it was like I had all this awesome success, sold out parties, and then boom, nothing. And so I decided to homeschool my girls, and I felt like I didn't have the finances to be able to invest in Paint Party headquarters yet. And I wish I would have, because it would have helped me to pivot better. Because I did try to do like some Zoom classes, and I had a few people sign up for those. And I was struggling a lot with everything that was going on in the news and stuff at that time. So I was like, I'm just gonna focus on my kids. And so I didn't do any art really other than whatever with my kids that whole year. And then I started to have, the urge to try again last spring. because people still during that time were reaching out like, oh, are you still doing paint parties? And I was like, oh, no, not right now, not until, some things open up again. So here in Washington, the restaurants and the wineries started opening up again last spring. And so that's when I started trying again. And it was very successful. We had one of my first public events I had that July had 45 painters, and I had to turn people away that had shown up and just wanted to join. So it was a very big, successful event. It's so exciting when that happens. It just gives you so much joy and in knowing that you can teach art to people and they can have a good time. And so yeah. And then, I think in August, I joined Paint Party Headquarters, and it has boomed. I've more than doubled my profit this year compared to last year. It has just been growing like crazy.
That's great. Oh my gosh. And are you still homeschooling your girls?
No. I decided, once things opened up and were a little bit more normal, I was like, you guys can go back to school. I like to teach, and I'm good at teaching kids, but my own kids is a little hard.
Tell me about it. Oh my gosh. Me and Pixie trying to do math together. It's just like a yelling fight. I'm like, that is not how you do math. She's like, that's how they teach me. I'm like, well, their way of teaching you is stupid. It's this way. Like oh my gosh, we've been so many fights. So yeah, I definitely need, and I'm a teacher, so I definitely need somebody else to teach my child.
Yep. I learned that the hard way through that year.
Well, that's good. I'm so glad that you're back at it and you have isn't it cool? And I don't know if Lori, and it sounds like Holly, you for sure do this, but tracking what you made. I mean, obviously we see it on our tax report, but if you track like, oh my gosh, I had this, so many parties, this. And another great way, just a tip for those of you watching, is to go back. So like I was looking at the other day pictures of Pixie like through the years for Halloween. And so I would go to October of 2019, October of 20, whatever. And then during the midst of that, I'm seeing all these paint parties and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was cool. Oh, that was a great one. And so even going back through your photos, you can, because I know we all have those moments where like we have these huge parties, right? I mean, you both are successful with these huge parties, but do you ever have a party cancel? Like, I don't know if you have, but I definitely have. And it can take you from feeling like you're the biggest rock star to what the heck? Like, who am I to do this? Why, like we just go into this like self-doubt. So, Lori, can you talk about any of the moments, especially, I mean, this is, you have your own studio. Have you ever had a moment where you're like, oh crap, I have a studio. This is a lot of pressure. Like, have you ever had those moments and how do you overcome them?
So not every paint party's a hit because I do 3 or 4 a week at my studio. So like tomorrow night, I put up an event 2 weeks ago. I don't have any bites for tomorrow night, and that's fine. I figure that it's one event and I'll keep moving. Hey, I got an extra night home with my kids, but so sometimes it's a little scary because I have overhead and I need to make sure that I make, my overhead. And so then once I realize like, hey, what caused me not to get, people in seats? It's like, what was it? Did I let it slack? Did I not put enough effort into it? I'll review what I do, and then I will, because I do majority of my advertising on Facebook. So then I'll go back through my posts and be like, did I not schedule enough for this event to show up in front of people? And if that's what I did, then I'll start reviewing my next events. Like, how many times did I post that? And why isn't that, what's the sales on that one? So then I will go back through and make sure that the next week or the following week has more information out there for people to see.
Okay, so I'm taking notes. Those of y'all that are not taking notes should definitely be taking notes because Lori,
you have some. See,
yes,
I'm doing it.
Okay, so I am so proud of you right now, Lori, because you didn't take it personal, and not only did you not take it personal, because at first we take it all personal as a hit against our character and our being as a human, right? Like, but it's not personal, it's business. And then not only did you not take it personal, you took it a step further and you took responsibility, which is one of the biggest things that is so hard to teach as, you know, as I'm teaching people how to be a creative entrepreneur is really stepping back and going, okay, what did I do? But more importantly, what could I do different? You know, and not taking it as a like a shameful thing or a bad thing, but just looking at the facts. What did I do wrong? I've noticed just something very, very simple. If you posted a GIF, it was like wildfire. Like I would post something in a group with a GIF and everyone would see it. Now, if I post in a group with a GIF, zero reach. And I'm like, how is that even possible? It's like the algorithm turned. And so again, it's nothing against me or my post. It literally is just, oh my gosh, something changed on socials. I need to change that. And so I really respect the fact that you take responsibility and you go, wait, what did I do? What can I do different for the next one? And enjoy a night with your kids. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool, Lori. I love that. Okay, so let's go into another question. So I want to know, maybe if you can each share, and we'll start with Holly first, share one of your tips for success. I know that there's a lot of people watching this and in different levels. There's some that are just now starting this paint party adventure, and some people that have been doing it a while. Maybe they've gotten burned out. Maybe they're trying to reignite it, but they're not sure how to do it. What is one of your kind of go-to tips for success, Holly?
I know this is hard for creatives to hear, but I feel like my number one tip for success is organization. I'm really on top of having a checklist and being organized. I schedule like everything. I put everything in my calendar. Even like, you know, at the beginning of each month, I'll look through the whole month coming up at how many events, what size canvases I need, how much paint I think I'll need, and I'll pre-order everything ahead. You know, it takes a while to build up enough revenue to be able to do that, but once you get going, it's not too difficult to be able to pre-order. And then I just, you know, check my calendar every day, like what did I need to make sure I get done today? What's extra that I need to make sure I add? And I have to do the same thing with my family life too, because I, you know, take care of all the bills and the kids' appointments and stuff. So I'm just a very type A organized person.
It's so true. So one of my Bobby, he'll joke, he'll be like, you're just such a, and it's funny, we're using the word bird a lot, but he's like, you're just a weird bird. And I'm like, I know. Like, I just, you know, we have these weird things about us, right? And one of the weird things that I have, like, I have my paper calendar, but one of my favorite things to do, and I know this is so dorky, but I think y'all will appreciate this, is buying a new paper calendar, even though the year isn't done yet, going on my back porch, grabbing a glass of wine, putting on good music, and then rewriting everything over again. Like, I don't know why that is so satisfying to me, but it's almost like, okay, I've messed it all up. It's all crazy. And then I go make it like everything is organized, where my paint parties are, where I need to be. And I don't know why that makes me just feel safe. It makes me feel like everything's going to be okay. And I think it's so true as a creative. I mean, y'all, right now, like I literally, my office was such a disaster. I just put it all in the hallway because I couldn't even function for today's interviews. And there's something about being organized and having your paint ready, having your canvases, having your ceramics ordered. You know, last year I ordered ceramics late and because people kept adding to the party, and then I had to pay like extra rush shipping, and it was a whole nightmare just because I didn't pre-plan right. So if you have that ready, that just takes all of that stress off of you. So organization, as hard as it is, I think that's a very great tip, Holly. Good job. Good job for conquering that.
Thanks.
especially those of y'all with kids, and it's a lot. There's a lot of balls in the air. And Lori, what would you say? What is your biggest tip for success?
I would say being open to change and movement and being more fluid for anything, for an event, for party planning, for picking up new customers. Just make yourself available, and if things don't work like your normal way, feel free to change, because eventually it's going to go through. You just need to get yourself, how you get to from point A to point B is you got to be open for that movement.
Yeah, what is the quote? I know I'm gonna butcher it, but it says something like the only thing that's constant is change or something like that. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
it's gonna happen whether we want something to change or not. It's gonna happen. And there's obviously an old school way of thinking. This is the way we do it always, always, always. And then there's the people out there that are like, no, but we could do it this way and could possibly open a whole new door of possibilities. So I think that's great tip. So organization and then being open to change and being willing to pivot and change when you need to. I think that goes into, and I don't know if y'all want to speak on this as well, but I think sometimes that goes into ego. Like, we can feel like, well, this is the way we've done it, and now it's not working. So if I change it a different way, people are going to see that, and now I'm going to look like I'm failing. Like, do y'all ever have those feelings where, you got to go, okay, I don't care. I don't care what people are saying. This is what I need to do to make my business work. Have you ever been in a situation like that? And how did you overcome it?
I mean, I have, and I think it's a growing experience more so. When I first started, I was very worried about how I was perceived. There's a lot of paint night ladies or paint party ladies in my area, and I was very worried about being someone that they would recognize and they want to go to, and how. Sorry, video. This car's.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't even hear it.
Oh, it is so loud on my side. So I mean, I was very about. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm so sorry.
So you were nervous about there was a lot of paint party people in your area, and you were worried about how you were going to be perceived.
Right. It's gone. I remember saying that. I don't remember the point of that. So a second.
It'll come back around. I do that all the time. It's fun. While you're thinking about that, let's go to Holly. Is there anything that you've had like a moment where you've thought, okay, this sucks, but we can get through it, and you move past it?
Oh my gosh. I've had several of those moments, but yeah, we worked through it. I had a party last year at a church in December, and it was a lot of like old school ladies that were going. They did not want to prepay. I kept trying to push to have them prepay. We were doing a black canvas with an angel on it. And I love that painting, by the way. But anyways, so I got I get to the party, and just the time it took to get everyone paid took a while. And then they had a lot of extras. Like I always bring like 3 extra canvases. They had like 10 extra people.
Oh, wow.
To get a black canvas and run all, it was just crazy, but they loved it. They still had a great time. And then all those extra canvases, I was freehanding, trying to hurry and draw the angel on for them. And man, that was insanity, but it was worth it to see those ladies just still have a great time. They didn't care that it took a little while. And, I just had to one of the other things that helps me is I do yoga a couple times a week. So I'm like, okay, I've got to breathe through this. Like, remember my breathing exercises and it'll be all right. And it was, so yeah, just got to go with it.
I think so. I think last year, I don't know if y'all remember this post or this live. I was like, okay, I'll tell everybody in Paint Party headquarters later what happened. Like, because the event looked like it went perfect for social media. But before the event, it was like nightmare after nightmare. It was like everything that could go wrong went wrong. Like the things that I have done 100 times went south, and so by the end of it, like, the pictures, it all looked like the party was perfect. But I remember just being like, Paint Party headquarters, just letting you know, no matter how long you've been doing this, you're going to be throwing a curveball sometimes. And it happens, no matter what. So, okay, Lori, did it come back?
No.
Okay. I did that the other day, and I was like, Yeah, I have a point, and then I cannot remember what the point was. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up with this. I want y'all to share, if you don't mind, what is your favorite part about being this creative paint party entrepreneur? And we'll start with you, Holly. What's your favorite part?
Well, I feel like it's just the best thing to be able to give to the world, something special for yourself. I'm one of those what do they call them? Like an extroverted introvert, like I can be extroverted for, you know, maybe 25% of the time, but 75% of the time I'd rather be, quiet. And so a lot of my art time has been like my quiet time. I just do it on my own, but I push myself to be able to give that to the world. And that has been a great challenge to overcome. And just to be able to help people to see that they have the ability to create as well. And there's so many people that go to parties that have never painted before, or they haven't painted since they were kids. And sometimes I try to encourage like finger painting and stuff for some of the steps. And I always tell them it's good to feel like a kid again, because in
Yeah.
our lives, we're always so like a corporate style, or just going and trying to be so responsible and adult, like we don't get time to play. And so getting to play and let people relax, and that I create that environment for them, that's the best.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this is like at the beginning, a lot of us are doing this to make extra money. I mean, let's be real, right? Like we're doing this to make extra money, and we're still doing it obviously to make money, but there comes a point where you get past that, like, okay, it's about making money, to where you really do have those moments where you're like, hey, there's a bigger piece of this, like creating joy and creating happiness, and how we can be a part of that for somebody, because it's true. I mean, that could be the highlight of somebody's month, coming to see Holly, coming to see Lori. Like that could be the highlight, knowing that they're going to, they've worked so hard, but they're going to come and have fun with you during that time. And I think it's really important that we don't come out of the gate as serious art teachers. You know what I mean? Like they have serious everywhere. Like we need to have some fun and add fun back. And I think that's, obviously it sounds like it's part of your mission too, Holly. And that's been one part of my mission too, is bringing that happiness and that joy when you do that. So I love that. And Lori, I know just from you adding the splatter paint room, you're obviously wanting to bring that in as well. So can you tell us a little bit about what's your favorite part about this creative entrepreneurship?
Um, favorite part is bringing joy, and my favorite part of a paint party though is at the end where everyone gets together and all of their paintings, just seeing them all line up and they're all excited and proud of their work. That is my favorite part of every event. But it and showing people what they can do. Also, I love being able to support my family by doing something that I love. I've loved art my whole life. I love to be able to have a job that I'm proud of and want to talk about all the time, and want to I want to create all the time, and I have that freedom to do so. And that's what I love about this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know if y'all saw, and it's okay if you haven't, because I know you're busy, but if y'all saw the Q&A where I challenged y'all to say 3 things that you're proud of about yourself. And I would love for y'all just to share one thing with the world that you're proud of yourself for. And so we'll start with you, Holly. What's one thing you're really proud of yourself for?
Well, off the top of my head, so I was a lot like Laura. I didn't go to art school, but I always loved art, was good at art, come from a family of artists and teachers. And I did art all throughout high school, and I ended up working at an art museum. But when I was in high school, there were just, people are trying to get you to figure out what you want to go to college for. And people always told me, oh, you can't make money doing art. Well, I just believed them. It was just a lie, but I believed it. And so I always loved animals. And I thought, well, I'll just go to school for like animal science instead. And so I did that and got my bachelor's degree with that. But I still, once I became a mom, I had this emptiness inside me that I felt like, I needed my me time and I needed to be able to create, and being able to do that and push past that lie that people told me, oh, you can't make money doing this, you can't succeed with this. I just pushed past it and I did it anyways. And it's only been a few years, and I make way more than I ever did working in the veterinary field. Not that I'm against, I still love animals. I promote animal art a lot, but it's a different way of enjoying animals, but still doing what I love and proving the world wrong, that artists are important. And I'm proud of myself for pushing past that.
Yeah, artists are way important. I mean, if you look anywhere, you see art everywhere. You go to a restaurant, you see art, you go anywhere. So yeah, I think it's such a lie that's been told for so long. And y'all are both proof that it's not true. So I love it. Okay, that's great. Lori, what would you say?
What I'm proud of is that I'm being a great role model for my girls, like to show them how to work for their dream and not somebody else's, to break glass ceilings and things that, like, I'm gonna cry because that makes me so happy, like that they have somebody that will show them that they don't have to do something they don't want to do. They can do something that they love and be able to support themselves and be independent. That's in the world that we're in right now. That's a big thing. That's a huge thing.
Huge. How old are they?
5 and 7.
Oh, so they are like literally seeing you live your dream.
Yes.
That's
and they know, they go, we're going to Mama's studio. We're going to Mama's studio. Like they know that's what we're doing. Like they know how important this is and how that the sacrifices sometimes that I make, that is able to give them, to show them like the life that they could have, the things that we're able to do. Like I was able to take my kids to Disney World this year that I've never been able to do. So it's huge, huge.
It's big. And it's just gonna, I mean, for both of y'all that are parents, and I have Pixie, and it's so awesome to see. Pixie was just doing a paper for her school on the difference between men and women and the wage gap, and how even today, I mean, I'm not trying to get into any political stuff here, but just facts, even today, the wage gap in corporate America, guys are still paid, I think it was 17% more. And so, so for those of you out there, wanting to follow your dreams, doing your paint party business, there's real money to be made. I mean, being able to make enough money to take your girls to Disney is not cheap. Like nothing about Disney is cheap. And so to be able to show them that you can do that, and I just love that. That's been one of my oh, and now you're gonna make me cry. That's been one of my big things is showing Pixie, and y'all, you saw that at Paint Party Business Live, is wanting to show her like she can do whatever she wants. She's got to work hard. Obviously it's not going to be handed to her, but there are opportunities and there are ways, that maybe our grandparents didn't have. But there are ways now that we do have if we want to work for it. And I think that is so important. And it just makes my heart just so happy to hear that. Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to see what both of y'all do just in the next 12 months. You know what I mean? Like with y'all having so much momentum just in these few years, I can't even imagine what's going to happen in a year for your business, in 5 years, or even 10 years. I mean, who knows? Like I just picture like looking back on this interview 10 years from now and just seeing where y'all end up. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to see where it all goes. So thank y'all so much for being here. And before we leave, let's let Holly share where everybody can find you on social. And so that if y'all want to learn more, go ahead, Holly.
Okay, if you guys want to find me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Holly Zepeda 1987. It's HOLLIEZEPEDA 1987. I know it's not my business name, Art Your Way. I wish that they had that available, but you can also search Art Your Way, and your is capitalized, and you should be able to find me that way. And I'm also on Instagram, just Holly Zepeda.
Awesome. And then artyourway.org for your website.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And how can we find you, Lori?
Sure. On Facebook, it's rarebirdart.studio Maine, the state of Maine, MAINE, or rarebirdart.studio. So www.rarebirdart.studio.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Thank y'all for taking time out of your busy lives and just sharing what you love about this paint party world. And please let us know in the comments what your favorite takeaways were and if you have any questions. All right. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.